I'll see what I can do. He sighed with a faint grimace. He had little choice. The rent of an office, even in a town like Eria, was more than his business could support, and he needed this case to conclude his affairs honestly before he could resume his itinerant ways. He yearned for those days of walking free, with not a townman to pressure him about which case to take and which trail to leave. Leaner days, too, if truth be told. But Kwame had always found liberty more satisfying than comfort. Poor Paama, his conscience murmured. Do you want to go back? Or do you prefer liberty too? While Kwame is sniffing out the trail of Ansige's wife, let us run ahead of him and meet her for ourselves. She and her family have resettled in Makenda, the village of her childhood. Much is familiar there. Little has changed, except, of course, for those who return. Paama's father, Semwe, had left when a youth, returned, then left again when a man. Now an elder, he will never leave again, at least not the mortal part of him. He had wanted this final return to be a peaceful retirement. He acknowledged with regret that it was a retreat. The townhouse in Eria had lost all peace, with regular visits from messengers bearing Ansige's variously phrased demands for Paama's return. Semwe refused to argue with such a man, preferring to go to a place of quiet and safety, where unwanted company could be more easily avoided. In a town, houses crowd together, and everyone is a stranger. But in Makenda, a stranger was anyone who could not claim relation to 4 generations' worth of bones in the local churchyard. Semwe's wife Tasi was coming to Makenda for the second time, no longer the timid young wife, but not yet the matriarch. She needed grandchildren for that, and how, she murmured, blaming herself, could she get those, while her daughters stayed husbandless? She had no hope that Paama's marriage could be salvaged. She had chosen poorly for her first child, and she only prayed that she might choose more wisely for the other. Paama, at least, had strength and experience to sustain her. But her sister Naila, 10 years younger, had only a combination of beauty and self-centeredness that both attracted and repelled. She took the move from Eria as a personal attack on her God-given right to a rich, handsome husband. Tasi deplored such selfishness, but silently admitted that prospects in Makenda were certainly limited. And what of Paama herself? She said little about the husband she had left almost 2 years ago, barely enough to fend off the village gossips and deflect her sister's sneers. She didn't need to. There was something else about Paama that distracted people's attention from any potentially juicy tidbits of her past. She could cook. An inadequate statement. Anyone can cook. But the true talent belongs to those who are capable of gently ensnaring with their delicacies, winning compliance with the mere suggestion that there might not be any goodies for a caller who persisted in prying. Such was Paama. She had always had a knack, but the promise had come to full flower through constant practice. It was also a way for her to thank her family. Life, even life without grandchildren and a pair of rich, handsome sons-in-law, could be sweet when there was a savory stew gently bubbling on the stove, rice with a hint of jasmine steaming in the pot, and honey cakes browning in the oven. It almost cured Semwe's stoically silent worry, Tasi's guilty fretting.